Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to thank you all for this fantastic welcome and refreshment. We've been on that bus in the cold and the rain since this morning, and this, I can tell you, is the most welcome lunch that anyone could ever ask for. Thank you very much indeed. It really is a splendid and unexpected treat for us, as has been the welcome that I have received in Bradford over this last 3 years. I have been in Bradford only 3 years, but I already feel that I entered heaven without having to die first. This is the perfect constituency for me, because I'm surrounded by people who care about the things I care about, and I'm surrounded by people whom I have fought for 40 years and more. And I can't tell you how welcome I feel. The response on the street to our bus, with cars flashing their lights, honking their horns, waving, men and women, young and old, wearing hijabs, not hijabs, niqabs, not niqabs. It's a fantastic, plural jigsaw that we have put together here in Bradford, and it's not finished yet. I've had only half a term. I'm asking for a full term to complete the job that we have begun. And what is that job? That job is turning Bradford back up the way it should have always been. It was upside down when we got here just 3 years ago. It had been allowed to sink by the people who ruled it, especially Labour, which held my constituency for 40 years. They want to blame me in 3 years for the problems that they presided over and helped to create for 40 years. Well, it isn't working, because people can see that in just 3 years we have really turned things around. When I arrived here, there had been a hole in the centre of the city for 8.5 years, and now it's Westfield, and it'll be open this summer with 800 jobs and tens of thousands of new people coming into the city centre every weekend. But let me just say in parenthesis, we welcome the 800 jobs, but Fatima and Muhammad and Ali have to have the same chance of getting those jobs as anybody else in the city, and we'll be monitoring that very closely. These jobs have to go to local people, and they have to go to local people whatever their name is, whatever their colour is, and however they pray. I mention that because for 5 years I was the MP for Canary Wharf, where thousands of people worked, and the only Fatimas were serving the tea, and the only Mohammeds were sweeping the floor. We won't put up with that here in Bradford. When I got here, the Odeon was falling down, and they wanted it to fall down, so they didn't have to knock it down. And we could have had another hole to match the hole we already had. And we saved the Odeon, and now, very shortly, it will be a jewel in the crown again. We saved the National Media Museum that they were going to close, our only national institution, and we saved it. I've had a surgery, 127 surgeries in 3 years. You can do the maths. There's only 156 Saturdays in 3 years. And I've done a surgery 127 of those Saturdays. And 4,000 people have been through that surgery. We didn't win all the cases, but we fought all the cases. We fought even the hopeless cases, as long as we possibly could. We live here, my wife and I spent our honeymoon in Hollings Road. How romantic is that? Hollings Road. ever seen Holland Road knows how romantic that was. I got elected on Thursday, got married on Saturday, and spent our wedding night in Hollings Road. Unforgettable. Absolutely unforgettable. But we've moved 150 yards to Whitley Hill. We've moved up market. The insurance premium has come down. But we're still there in the heart of Manningham, and I hope in the hearts of the people of this constituency. My house is there, my office is there, my office is at 2 Grattan Road in BD1. My surgery is there every Saturday morning. Everyone is welcome. And I'm the only MP in Britain that gives out their mobile telephone number. So here it is. Catch it on video. 07894 585 465. You can phone me at any time of the day or night. And if it's after midnight, I know it's from Bradford. That's for sure. We started, now let us finish. There's much still to be done. Our schools especially are the second worst schools in all of England. Imagine, we pay our taxes, but our schools are second bottom of the National League. And we have the youngest city in Europe. By 2020, half of all the people in the city of Bradford will be under the age of 25. That should be a blessing. Think how many samosas you can sell to that market. Think of the labour force that represents. The cultural force that could represent. The youngest city in the whole of Europe. But if they're being failed by the schools and they can't get work and they don't have money, then what should be a blessing becomes its reverse. And we know that the devil finds work for idle hands. And our young people will finish up lost. Lost to their families, lost to Islam, lost to the society. Looking at drug dealers in big cars and imagining that that's the only way out of the difficulties that they find themselves in. We have to get a shot in the arm. I've demanded, it's looking like a hung parliament, which doesn't mean we're going to hang all the members of parliament, although some of them deserve, no doubt, to be hanged. So they're going to require my vote if I'm elected to get into power. And I'll vote for Ed Miliband to be the Prime Minister, but only on the condition that he delivers for Bradford. And we have 6 points that we are demanding. And the first of those is Bradford's schools. But we need a transfer of a government department from London to Bradford, and immediately. We've even scoped out the space that they could use in TJ Hughes' department store. Empty, derelict, 43,000 square meters. We want the passport office there, or the immigration department there. We demand the transfer from London of a government department. They've done it in Swansea, they've done it in Edinburgh, in Glasgow, in Belfast. Now they have to do it for Bradford. The fourth of my demands is the scrapping of the £18,600 income level in order to choose your own wife or your own husband. Imagine the government chooses who you can marry, who you can bring as a wife or a husband into the country. Whilst a Slovakian, God bless them, who doesn't speak a word of English, can bring his wife, could bring 10 wives, could bring 20 wives, even though they don't speak a word of English, and they don't have to show any income at all. Now, 18,600 is a lot of money in Bradford. Maybe in London it's okay. But to prove you've got 18,600 as an income, prove it in your income tax records, prove it on your bank statements, that's not easy. And many of the 4,000 cases I've dealt with have been cases involving so-called bride price or spouse price, which is discrimination against us as a community and a discrimination against poor people. And that's completely unacceptable. I'm not going to all the demands, but there's only one of them doesn't have everything to do with Bradford. There's only one of them that's to do with international affairs. But I'm going to tell Ed Miliband when he calls me next weekend, as I promise you he will, I'll vote for you to be the Prime Minister. But you need to promise me now that the British government will immediately recognise the state of Palestine in the first few weeks of the Labour government. And I think that that will be widely supported here in this city. So I'm asking you to do everything you can for me and for the other Respect candidates standing for the council to vote Respect, George Galloway for Parliament, Mohammed Salis for Manningham, Sharaz Hussain for Tulla, Adrian Longthorne from Clayton and Fairweather Green, Rob Holdman in Thornton and Ullerton, Sharik Mahmood in the City Ward. All the Respect candidates deserve your support. If we can get the balance of power in the City Council, and I hold the balance of power in the Parliament, well, we're in a good place. We're in a good place, and it's doable, it's achievable. So please spread the word. There's only 5 days left to go before the people are going to the polls, from 7 in the morning until 10 in the evening. Make sure every vote is out. Every man, every woman, every old man, every old woman, every young man, every young woman, from the age of 18 until the age of 80, 90, or we've even got one voter, mashallah, who's 103 years old and lives just a few doors away from us in Wetley Hill. Do everything you can, please. My voice will last until Thursday, and I hope that you hear it loud and clear in Parliament, inshallah, over the next 5 years. Wassalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Not at all.
What are you doing, eh?
Yeah.